You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
Today's Tuesday, July 13th, 2021, and this is your daily Star Trek news from the Roddenberry Podcast Network. On today's show, Nichelle Nichols is heading to Ohio later this year for the christening of the upgraded headquarters of the International Federation of Trekkers. Marina Sirtis recounts the time that she escorted Prince Charles to the premiere of Star Trek First Contact, and I've got this week's Trek trivia. I'm Alison Pitt, and today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Get 10% off your first month of counseling at betterhelp.com/DSTN. Most of us are probably aware that the United Federation of Planets is, or will be, headquartered in San Francisco, California, aka the city by the bay. But now we might have to be careful when shortening that to Federation headquarters. That's because the International Federation of Trekkers is headquartered in Huron, Ohio, a city on the shores of Lake Erie. This federation is unique in that it is the only Star Trek fan club to be approved by Gene Roddenberry, who worked with co-founder Russ Haslage to establish it in 1984, and it's about to receive a distinguished visitor. According to comicbook.com and the IFT website, Nichelle Nichols, Lieutenant Uhura from Star Trek the original series and of course the films, will visit this federation's headquarters the weekend of September 10th. This is expected to be her final public appearance before her farewell event in Los Angeles later this year. The International Federation of Trekkers moved into new facilities in 2020, and Ms. Nichols will be there to christen the new location with autograph and photo opportunities. The latter will be while she sat in the captain's chair on the IFT's replica Enterprise bridge. Fans can also reserve seats for a dinner with Nichols. All proceeds from the event will benefit her retirement fund. The nonprofit federation has more than 2,100 members and over 30 chapters, and according to its website, its purpose is in part to promote the humanistic philosophies and ideals portrayed in the Star Trek myths in a realistic fashion conducive to the continued existence and responsible advancement of humankind. For more information about the International Federation of Trekkers and the event with Nichelle Nichols, set course for trekfederation.com. Marina Sirtis, Star Trek The Next Generation's own Deanna Troi, recently moved back to the UK. Now she's been making the rounds to the local papers across the pond, and in her latest interview she has recounted an illustrious encounter. In an exclusive interview with the Daily Express, Sirtis recalled that it was back in 1996 when she was told by Paramount that they had been contacted by Buckingham Palace, and that Charles, Prince of Wales, wanted her to be his official escort to the premiere of Star Trek First Contact. Sirtis' response was one of incredulity. "I said, you called Marina. Did you mean to call Patrick?" As in Patrick Stewart, also a British native, and of course the show's lead/captain. Now, but there was no mistake. Sirtis said that it was a huge moment for her, but it was also nerve-wracking. "I've never been so nervous in my life," she admitted. "I was terrified because I love the royal family. I'm a big royalist." And what did Prince Charles think of the film? "I don't think he was a Star Trek fan," Sirtis recalled. "At one point he was like, 'What's going on?'" But whether or not he enjoyed the movie, Sirtis was quick to point out that he was very nice and he chatted, but he didn't talk during the movie. Perhaps his Royal Highness's royal upbringing included movie theater etiquette. To read Sirtis' interview with the Express and all of the wonderful details of her time as Prince Charles's escort, nothing kinky, head to express.co.uk. Now I've got Trek Trivia Tuesday here in just a moment, but first, a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. You and I have never met, most of you. Some of you I have, but most of you I've never met. And because of that, it's only logical that I can't know what's good for you any more than you can know what's good for me. But if you're feeling like maybe you could use someone to talk to, BetterHelp does actually know what's good for you. When you sign up with BetterHelp, they ask you about you. Then they match you with a licensed professional therapist who specializes in what you need. Depression, relationships, LGBTQ issues, these are just some of the areas that BetterHelp counselors specialize in, and they can use their skills to help you. I just do the Star Trek news. However, I do want you to start living a happier life today. And as a daily Star Trek news listener, you can get 10% off your first month of counseling by visiting betterhelp.com/DSTN. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's betterhelp, HELP.com/DSTN. And now, it's Trek Trivia Tuesday. Did you know? In the film Star Trek Beyond, the Enterprise crew visits Starbase Yorktown, a massive, sprawling space station. The Yorktown was the newest and most advanced Federation base and could hold millions of life forms. The structure of the base consisted of a matrix of city-sized interlocking rings and radiating arms enclosed in a spherical translucent surface, making it resemble, as Dr. McCoy pointed out, a snow globe. So now, a trivia question for you. The name Yorktown has appeared in other episodes and films of the franchise, but where can you find the very first reference to that name in Star Trek history? Find out on Friday's episode of Daily Star Trek News. Well, that's it for today's Daily Star Trek News from the Roddenberry Podcast Network. Don't forget to check out the other great shows on the network at podcasts.roddenberry.com. Daily Star Trek News is produced by me, Alison Pitt, and written by Chris Peterson and Jack Brown, with additional stories by David Powell and T. Rick Jones. Today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Get 10% off your first month of counseling at betterhelp.com/DSTN. I'm back tomorrow with more of the Star Trek news you need to know, and this week in Trek history. I'm Alison Pitt. Live long and prosper.
This is a Roddenberry podcast. For more great podcasts, visit podcast.roddenberry.com.